Hello, my lovely listener, and welcome to the Feel Good Social Podcast. Wow, that felt so great to say. My name is Kinsey, and I'm just another rad entrepreneur helping rad entrepreneurs like yourself use social media as effectively and efficiently as possible. Today, we'll be chatting about the 4 trends for social media marketing in 2020 that you should totally use ASAP. But before we dive into those, there are a few things that you should know about this podcast. Firstly, I just want to warn you, this show may very well contain a few choice 4-letter words every now and again. Because let's get real, I'm not going to limit myself or my amazing guests from expressing ourselves in the most genuine way. Because that's what we're all about here on this little podcast. Sure, we'll be chatting about social media marketing strategies for your small business and success mindset tips for your rad self. But if there's 3 things I can promise you about this podcast, it's this. Our stories are genuine, our intentions are good, and our conversations are real. You with me, friend? Amazing. Let's roll the intro. Hey, friend, and welcome to the Feel Good Social Podcast. I'm your host, Kinsey, and I'm here to help you market your business in a genuine way that works without wasting your precious time. On this show, we chat about social media strategy and mindset tips with a focus on, you guessed it, feeling good. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some genuine conversation for the good of your biz. Marketing your business on social media can take up so much of your precious time. Am I right? I, of all people, understand this, which is why I've created a free worksheet with all of my top time-saving tips for social media. This worksheet will walk you through 5 steps you can take to streamline your social strategy today and give you back precious minutes, hours, even days. I know it sounds crazy, but it's so true. To download this free worksheet, visit feelgoodsocial.com/save. Again, head to feelgoodsocial.com/SAVE to grab this free worksheet. If you didn't catch it from the title of this episode, today we're chatting about 4 social media marketing trends that we should all get on board with. These are strategies that have appeared in multiple 2020 trend prediction articles and have littered the discussion boards of all my nerdy social media marketing groups. I've also noticed these strategies performing really well for my own business's Instagram account, which, by the way, we are at Native Creative over on Instagram if you want to give us a follow. That's at NATIF Creative. If you want to join the party, make sure you give us a follow and let me know by leaving a comment on one of our posts so I can totally stalk you back and cheer you on. The 4 trends we'll be talking about today are actionable for every type of entrepreneur and business. I promise you, no matter who you are or what you do, these strategies will help to boost your brand's awareness this year. The first social media marketing trend you should start implementing in 2020 is to show more faces. And preferably, your face will be the one you show the most. I've honestly been hearing this for years now, but it's not going out of style anytime soon. Photos with people in them, especially those showing faces, perform the best on social platforms. In fact, I dare you to go check your analytics after this episode. Take a look at your top performing posts from the last 6 months and let me know how many of them feature faces. Seriously, if you feel so inclined, you should totally share your findings with me on Instagram at Native Creative, because the nerd in me would love to see what you got. There could be a lot of reasons as to why faces are so popular on social. I mean, there's been a not-so-rumor-ish rumor floating around that Instagram is using photo recognition software to analyze your posts and make sure that the hashtags you're using actually match the photo. I could totally see the Instagram gods deciding to use the same software to boost photos with faces as well. But you have to ask yourself, Why does the big Mark Z want to boost posts with faces anyway? It's because social media platforms are meant to breed connection and conversation, and it all starts with an inviting and personable human face. Even if that is just me spouting off a nerdy Instagram conspiracy theory, you can't dismiss the face value facts. Pun totally intended. Posts with people receive more likes, comments, and shares overall. I think it's honestly because people feel more inclined to engage with a post that features a face. Let me ask you this. Would you be more drawn to start a conversation with a person or a flower? No matter how pretty the flower, it simply doesn't have a mouth, folks. Subconsciously, we do not expect it to talk back to us, because that's truly what you should be going for with your social media marketing efforts. I can already tell you that you're going to hear me say this over and over again on the podcast, but to have a successful business these days, you need to make it personal. That doesn't mean spilling your dirty dishes all over your business's social media accounts. Is that a phrase? Is it throwing your dirty laundry around? I don't know. Anyway, I'm not saying you need to be a completely open book. I'm saying you should share the story of you and your business and give your customers a chance to get to know you. Let them connect with you, let them become friends with you, and feel loyal to you. And the way to start doing that is by introducing the face or faces behind your brand and telling your stories. Now, I know you might be thinking, Kinsey, I do not like pictures of myself and I do not want to show up on camera, okay? I get it. It can be fairly intimidating to put your face out there. You might feel a little scared of judgment. You might be worried that people will think that you're all into yourself. You may even be wanting to maintain this image that your business is a separate entity and not make the focus around you. I'm saying all these things because I've felt all these things, believe me. But I'm here to tell you to get over yourself. You are a beautiful person, and most of the world feels awkward on camera. I personally have this wonky eye thing that happens to me in front of the lens that I try with all my power to avoid. And with a great deal of practice, I now manage to take a normal photo like 70% of the time. Because you do get better and more comfortable with practice, I promise. I can also promise you that 99% of your followers will not think you're way too into yourself if you post a photo of your own radiant mug. Most will see this as confidence and admire you for it. And if you're really worried about it, here's a pro tip. Use you instead of I in your caption. Make the caption all about your reader and invite your audience into the story. It will make them feel as if they're having a conversation with you rather than reading some disconnected caption from afar. And if you're thinking, well, that's all okay, Kinsey, but I don't want to make my business about me. I left my name out of my business for a reason, and I want it to have its own identity because I might want to sell it one day. You may also be saying, it's more about my products than it is about me, or I don't want people to always be expecting to work with me directly. I was totally that person, which is exactly why I named my business Native Creative instead of something with my name in it. But take it from me, it doesn't matter what your business is. You could be creating a digital agency like I was, or you could be manufacturing luxury hotel bedding. Showing the faces behind your business will boost your success in a big way. Let me tell you a little story. I work with a brick and mortar restaurant here in the Vail Valley, and the food presentation is awesome. So I was posting beautiful photos daily to all of her social media accounts. But guess what? Those posts were not getting as much engagement by a long shot than the posts of the owner herself, the chef, and her employees. It's because even though people are going to the restaurant to eat this delicious food, they feel drawn to the restaurant in the first place because of Ellie's amazing personality. They love it, and that's what they're attracted to. You really, really need to insert personality into your business. In 2020, it's necessary, guys. So, what do you think? Are you ready to show your face on social for the good of your biz? If you answered with a big hell yes, but you still don't know how you're going to be able to magically take those amazing photos, I've got you, my friend. Next week's episode will feature an awesome conversation with Kristen from Modish Digital about creating amazing brand photography, and she'll be sharing her brand lifestyle photo shoot checklist with you guys, and I'm so excited for it. So definitely check in for next week's episode number 4. All right, moving on. The second social media marketing trend you should implement in 2020 is to be more real. And I'm not necessarily talking about being #authentic. It's so funny. I was just reading an article on the Later blog that said authenticity was the #1 Instagram trend of 2019. And it was discussing the longevity of this trend because, let's be honest, it's becoming slightly overused, and I think some people may be trying a little too hard. I'm not telling you to go write a bunch of long Instagram captions where you're trying to be vulnerable. I'm using air quotes over here. Just so you can slap the #authentic label on your posts. No, I'm talking about being genuine, relatable, and telling it like it is. Here's the thing. People are getting better and better at smelling the bullshit through their screens. It's the latest in 4D technology, I'm telling you. If you only share perfectly posed and edited photos, your audience will look to your brand as an unattainable aspiration, or they simply won't believe you. The best way to develop genuine trust with your audience is to share stuff that's relatable and genuine or inspirational in an attainable way. I'm not saying you shouldn't share beautiful photos. I'm just saying you should back it up with realness to build a stronger relationship with your ideal audience and gain their trust. There's this super cool chick in Utah named Paige Arminta who poses for a lot of artistic and beautiful photo shoots for her Instagram account, but she always shares an unedited cell phone video showing the behind the scenes of the shoot alongside her edited photos, which I think is super cool. So how do we all keep it real in 2020? Well, firstly, we can spend less time editing our photos. The same article that was chatting about the authenticity bubble bursting in 2020 also mentioned this upcoming trend for the new year that they call the no edit edit. Apparently, people are responding more enthusiastically on social media to content that doesn't necessarily look professional. A lot of influencers have started barely editing their photos or editing them in a way that looks supernatural. They're also taking photos in less majestic places, like their basements, instead of always posting bikini shots on a beautiful beach. They're saying this trend is cropping up because of the TikTok app, on which realness is going viral every day, folks. TikTok is the latest hot social media platform, and not only is the reach apparently amazing, honestly, I don't have firsthand experience. I downloaded it and got sucked into watching videos for an hour without uploading my own or doing much research. So just beware, it's pretty distracting. But there's a lot of interesting stuff that can be done with the app's video editing features, and it could be a great tool to spread brand awareness if your ideal audience is hanging out on there. TikTokers are posting mostly short, unedited, real-life videos, and this trend is spreading to video content all over all the other social media platforms. This is seriously great news for those of us who would like to start posting more videos in 2020, but we don't necessarily know what we're doing. I'm raising my hand over here. If you're making it a goal to utilize video for your social accounts, which I totally recommend if you feel fairly comfortable on video, then you shouldn't feel the need to do a great deal of editing. Can I get a hallelujah? Because that's what takes up the most amount of time. Believe me, I have created one YouTube video for my blog, and after 10 hours of editing, I ended up with a super nerdy 5-minute video that truly is not impressive. I'll admit that. We can also keep it real on social media by telling it like it is, which, yes, could involve some real vulnerability and stepping out of your comfort zone. I should clarify, I'm really not a proponent for complaining on social media, especially if you're trying to use it strategically to cultivate a community for your business. But don't spew out BS or avoid the glaring tough topics in your captions if it's necessary. The same goes for doling out engagement. Please, at all costs, avoid leaving those famous bot-like comments that are just one general exclamation and a string of emojis. We've all been victims of those, and we're all guilty of dishing them out. I'm not innocent over here. But the more meaningful, specific, and lengthy you can make your comments, the more appreciated you'll be. And people will know that you're definitely not a robot, which is important. Are you enjoying this episode right now? Are you picking up what I'm throwing down? I would absolutely love for you to leave a review on iTunes or Spotify and let me know what you like most about this podcast. Because I'll be honest, your opinion means the world to me. You're the reason I'm here. You're the reason I've committed to putting out this fresh content every week. And I'd love to hear what you think. The third social media marketing trend you should implement in 2020 is to include your audience in your brand and ask them to help spread your message. The first part is fairly easy, but it still needs to be said. The more you can make your brand about your audience, the more your audience will feel like a part of your brand. This means telling your customers stories of success, starting conversations with your ideal audience, asking their opinions, and actually listening to their responses. How can you do that on social? One of the best ways is to simply repost your followers' photos and make sure you tag them. On Instagram, it's wonderful to share their photos to your feed, but if you're worried about sticking to your brand vibe and maintaining a cohesive grid, then just share the posts to your stories instead. Both will make your customers feel seen and appreciated. I also love to use the interactive features of Instagram stories to include my audience and start conversations. Create a poll to see which color of a certain product your followers prefer, or use the questions button to ask what was their biggest win this week. Then, obviously, share the results and responses. Now, something that I've seen many people struggle with is actually asking their customers to recommend their business and spread the love. This can be a little difficult for a lot of us for some reason, but word of mouth marketing can go a long way. When I need to find the best products or service providers, I always ask the people I trust for recommendations. If you're creating a loved and trusted brand, which I'm sure we all are, your loyal customers will absolutely love to tell their friends about you and spread the good word on social for you for free. This can truly do wonders to boost your brand awareness, and you really won't need to lift any extra fingers. Because where most of us are lacking in this regard is that we simply don't ask. It's really as simple as that, I promise, but many of us shy away from it for some reason. When you have a happy customer, ask them to tag you in photos of your products. Ask them to tell their friends about their experience with you. Ask them to share your posts to their stories again and again and again. Here's the thing about consumers and humans in general. You need to tell us what to do, or you can't expect us to do it. We respond really well to direct instruction. We also need to be reminded a lot. Asking us to share about your business over and over will keep us actively involved in your brand. And I promise if you're worried about coming across as pushy or badgery, if that's a word, then you most likely will not come across that way. Just ask your customers to spread the good word, and they will. And don't forget to reward them by reposting when they do. The fourth and final social media marketing trend you should implement in 2020 is to be purposeful and generous with your outreach. By that, I mean interacting with your ideal followers and potential ideal followers on social media in a meaningful way that builds a reciprocal relationship and develops trust. Whew, that was a bit of a mouthful, wasn't it? Now let's get real. Do you interact with other accounts on social media, or are you just using it to post and respond to engagement on your account? Don't be ashamed if you don't do outreach often. I've gotten that from quite a few of my Instagram audit graduates, and I completely understand. It's really time consuming to merely manage your own social media account. Who the heck has time to actually be on the platform interacting with others? Well, I'm sorry to say, but I am here to play the devil's advocate and tell you that if you're not intentionally carving out some time in your week to engage with potential ideal customers and nurture your current ideal followers, you're not using social media in the best way possible. And you're missing out on a wonderful opportunity to strengthen your brand's presence and boost your account's performance on the platform. But here's the thing. Because outreach is so time consuming, you have to be super intentional about the accounts you're targeting and the engagement that you're doling out. I do not want you wasting your time engaging with people on social media who are not your ideal customers and will most likely never buy from you. That may seem a bit harsh, but we're marketing your business, baby, and I want you to get the most out of your time and efforts. To make sure you're interacting with the MVUs, or most valuable users, I just made that up. You like it? Anyway, you can either, 1, make sure you're following ideal people and hashtags so they show up in your feed as you're scrolling, or 2, you can stalk them. And I always laugh when I use the word stalk, but it's so true. I totally recommend keeping a list of, let's say, 15 to 30 people on social media who you want to develop a deeper relationship with for the good of your business. Every week, go to their accounts and interact with them in a meaningful way. Very few brands are taking the time to do this on the gram, and your ideal followers will notice. They'll feel seen and appreciated, and your brand will benefit, I promise. But what do I mean by interacting in a meaningful way? Let me drop a hard truth bomb on you real quick. If you've gotten into the habit of scrolling and liking, you're, again, wasting your time. And we can't have that. Think about it. How many times do you receive a notification from someone that has liked your post? Can you name all of your most recent likes individually? I didn't think so. Furthermore, sometimes Instagram does that nifty thing where they group all your likes together, so your notification becomes Native Creative and 23 others have liked your post. Simply liking someone's post is not the way to be noticed on social. It's much better to leave a non-robotic, personalized comment, such as pointing out the color of a couch in a photo. While this takes more time and brainpower than hopping on that double tap train, I promise that leaving 10 meaningful comments will be 10 times more effective than mindlessly liking 100 photos. And if you want to get super pro about it, here's my secret sauce. Respond to someone's story. Cue the gasp. I know. It's super innovative, right? Here's the thing. Even if you leave a meaningful comment on someone's photo, that notification and eventually the post itself will be pushed down and forgotten. But if you respond to someone's story, you'll start a direct message thread that doesn't disappear. Even if you go for a few weeks without interacting with said person, your DM will stay in their inbox, and the next time you hit them up, they'll be reminded that you're already acquainted. They'll be much more susceptible to responding and developing a friendship with you. All right, that is it. There were a lot more that I wanted to put on this show, but the show would have been hours long, you guys, so I really hope that you enjoyed the ones that I put out there for you. Speaking of, I would absolutely love to hear which ones were your favorite. Which trends are you planning on implementing? And just hear what you thought about the show in general, because we're a new podcast and I'm here for you. I want to create content that you want to hear, man. So please let me know by leaving a review on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you're listening to this. I would absolutely love to hear from you. And hey, if you'd like to share it to Instagram, that'd be all right too. make sure you tag us at Native Creative. That's at NATIF Creative. Once again, let us know what you thought and share it with the awesome people who need to hear this. Because I know marketing your business on social media can be time-consuming and confusing, and we're all in this together, guys. So I would appreciate it if you spread the love. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks so much for listening, my friend. For show notes and a whole lot of other awesome freebies, visit feelgoodsocial.com. Simply go to feelgoodsocial.com for all the goods.